That's recording. That's recording.
Is that recording?
Yeah.
Are you recording?
I'm recording. I think I'm recording everywhere.
I'm so excited for you.
Fucking God, it's been a while.
It has been a while, mate. I know it's been a shit couple of weeks, but you know what? We have such a wonderful team at Game On Australia.
We do.
That you wouldn't even know.
No.
You would not know. It's been a shit couple of weeks for you and I. Last week, and I don't know if it comes with an apology or a you're welcome, but last week I dived in and I did a...
Oh, yeah, I saw you did some screaming.
I did a solitaire... Did you say streaming or screaming?
Screaming and streaming.
Yeah, because it was more screaming than it was streaming. But I did... solitaire runs on Grandmaster.
Yeah.
And what a prick of a game. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun and people watching this very Twitch channel.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this on the podcast, twitch.tv/GameOnOz.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But Christ, what a pain in the ass. Anyway, we've got some real content for you this week.
We have.
And, of course, after this show, stick around because we'll have Straight Jacket Jim and Natty.
Yes.
Bringing you nuts and bolts. But it's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too.
How's the last couple of weeks been for you? You been all right?
Yeah, it's been all right.
Have you been busy? Yeah, but have you had a bit of time to at least dive into some of your new Series X?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
That thing...
It's good, isn't it?
It's good.
It's good. Game Pass?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good, yeah.
What I love the most about it so far is how much time it saves you when you load up a game you played. And for me, it's PGA 2K21. I'll quit out of it last night and I'll go in to this afternoon and have a bit of a deep dive. And it takes like 2 seconds and you're back at your spot you were yesterday.
A quick resume.
It is quick resume. It's so good.
It's good.
It just needs a game.
Yeah.
It needs a fucking game that utilises its power.
And we'll get there. There's plenty on the way.
Yeah.
But you got to download Psychonauts too.
I've started playing it.
You have started playing it.
So I actually that's got to be a great big question at some stage. Tag the person who gave you a great game recommendation because that was yours to me.
Yeah. And that was...
Love it so far. I've only played like 10 minutes of it.
I downloaded it because off Zulu's recommendation, one of our reviewers. And by the way, happy Deathloop Day today.
Yes.
Deathloop is out today and Zulu will be bringing the full review to GameOnOz.com.
He tweeted about that.
He certainly did.
Putting the final touches on it. Very good.
It's early reports from him. This is a game that you have to get your hands on. But anyway, we are here and it's good to be here. We're here for some of our mates, of course, Lenovo Legion and GeForce Now, powered by Pentanet as well. That's what today's show is brought to you by Australian cloud gaming service GeForce Now, powered by Pentanet and the Cloud GG portal. Sign up at cloud.gg and complete the beta quest to increase your chances of being selected for beta play in this month.
Yes!
Dan, beta play is happening. Oh my God, it's happening and it's amazing, right? And I got the notification. I've sent forth the details to the team at Cloud GG and Pentanet and our dear, wonderful Goa Club members, our Goa Legends Club.
Yes.
Who give us their cheeky $11 per month and get a whole heap of cool stuff with them.
Yes.
They're automatically into the beta. And I have been using the beta and it is pretty cool.
What do gamers love any more than beta? There's a few things, but beta's pretty up there.
It's well up there.
It's well up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of
gamers that froth over beta.
So many places I wanted to take that joke. It is well up there.
I've already done the master beta joke a few times.
Oh, you have.
But I'll do it again. Yeah.
Well,
I'll say that you're a master beta again.
You are the master. Hey, special day. Shall we dive in?
Let's go.
Lego.
Game on, game on, it's gaming time. Excellent, game on, it's gaming time. Excellent.
My name is Pete.
My name is Dan Internet.
Welcome, fellow gamers. The next hour we're going to bang on.
The cheeky non-gamers.
And the cheeky
I know
non-gamers
there's a couple.
as well. Yeah.
Not my wife. My wife doesn't listen.
No, we see you lurking. For the next hour, we're going to bang on about game because we bloody love gaming, Dan.
And Pete, We bloody love gaming, and what else do we bloody love?
Bloody gaming.
Oh, bloody gaming!
Yeah, I
You're
dived
getting too
right
good at
in.
it.
I dived right in there
I love it.
because we've got so much to cover off. Of course, shout out to our wonderful community.
Yes.
Find us all at Discord. Come and
Yes.
hang out.
Come and hang out.
Discord.gameonoz.com. Check us out on all of our socials. Do the like, follow, subscribe thing. We'd appreciate it. If you're listening to this on the podcast, please give us a top rating. We would
Please
appreciate
do.
that as well. It helps immensely. But also a special shout out again to the Goa Legends Club members, our paid subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. We hope you're getting some value out of your subscription. Enjoy being a part of the beta for NVIDIA GeForce Now. And of course, your super secret channel in the Discord that only you guys can access. On top of that, us answering your questions only in the
Right
podcast
here and right
as
now.
well.
That's
So
right.
we'll do that a little bit later on. But I just wanted to dive in quickly, just a few things that I've noticed in the news, and then we'll get stuck into a very special day. Dan, this is incredible, right? And this was something that I'd seen earlier today, but also something brought up by Menthonzo.
Yeah.
Who streams for us on this
the
Twitch
great
channel,
Menthonzo.
the Great Menthonzo, but also
That'd be great. If he was if there was a circus, traveling circus,
The great Menthonzo.
the great, he'd be there, the little booth. The
Yeah.
great, what is it? He'd be the a predictor of. Would he be a palm reader?
he'd be like a magician, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Great
yeah, the
Menthonzo.
Great Menthonzo.
The Great
Yeah,
Menthonzo is
100%,
it's definitely a
yes.
magician thing.
I'll show you a magic trick. That's a joke. I won't go into that.
Don't you dare! Too good. But he brought this to our attention as well in the super secret Discord channel for the Goa Legends Club members.
Yes.
But Nintendo has released an update for the Switch today
Oh yes.
that allows Bluetooth connectivity of headsets. Now, yeah, right. Now, I'm mind blown for a number of reasons.
Only
right?
because it's taken this long.
Well, because it's taken this long, but also, as it turns out, that as long as it has taken, I mean, we're really pretty much confirmed today that Nintendo are just a bunch of lazy, like, just get the software update together and send it. What have you been waiting for? So as it turns out, the hardware's been in there the entire time, Dan.
What?
Well, it has,
know
right?
that.
No, because here's the thing.
Well, it makes sense actually. Yeah.
Well, it does, because your Joy-Cons connect
Yeah.
via Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Right, so this is nuts. It's 13.0.0 is the Switch update.
Yeah.
Finally supports Bluetooth audio devices.
Yeah.
Finally supports it, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. So what will happen is you go into your Switch settings menu.
Yeah.
Beneath controllers and sensors, there's a simple pair device option.
Yes.
In a brand new Bluetooth audio section that has now appeared.
Yeah.
There's also a list of limitations that are also detailed in the support page of the Nintendo website.
Yeah.
But with a Bluetooth audio device connected, wireless headphones, earbuds, speaker, the Switch is only able to wirelessly connect up to 2 controllers at a time. So here's the thing, right?
okay.
Like once upon a time, you could connect all 4-player party games and stuff.
Yeah, right.
However, 4-player Super Mario Party battles out of the question now if you want to connect your bloody headset. So
or to a like a Bose speaker or
yeah, so it's I guess maybe that's the answer to the question we've all had, that if the technology is there, why is it taking you so long to sort of push it out, Nintendo? And maybe it's because it's kind of an anticlimax, right?
well, maybe. I mean, there's still the option. I know we've reviewed it. I think the historian reviewed these the FI Pro. That's that little plug-in that plugs into the headphone jack of your Switch. And
But that's better, right?
Well, yeah.
Like that still allows you to play,
well, that
4
way you can play
players or
4 player,
whatever. Right.
so that you still got that option. I guess if you're playing 4 player, you're not really going to be connecting to a headphones. You're probably
It depends.
TV,
yeah, no, you're right. You are right. That's a fair point. But I mean,
Oh, it's still weird. Like it's unusual. It's just unusual that it's taken this long. That's
Yeah.
what I find.
but anyway, look, for those of us who love sort of smacking around on a single player game or even dual or whatever it happens
So
to be,
what you have to practice now.
you can now do it. So that's good.
Practice now. You get your earbuds, plug them in, sit down with your wife Liz, and she's watching. I was going to say The Bachelor, but you'd be watching that
I love
too.
The
So let's say
Bachelor.
we're watching.
I love
You're
The
watching
Bachelor.
The Block, and you're not really interested, but you just got to play surreptitiously and everything. And go, yes, dear. Yes, dear.
Yeah. Yes, dear.
Like in The Simpsons when Homer is on jury duty and he wears those
Oh, the glasses.
to pretend he's awake.
They're amazing. I love that. God, I've been fanging some Simpsons lately.
Yeah.
I have really been.
One of the true joys of life, if you're a Simpsons fan, is when one of your children discovers it and you start to watch the old eps with them.
Right.
And my Luca, she loves The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've watched a few seasons together.
Did you know they're up to the 47,000th season now?
Well, I jumped off if Game On Australia's goal is to last as long as The Simpsons, and we're doing pretty bloody well. Right?
I think we're doing well
We're
as
only
well.
about 3 seasons in anyway.
So that's a little something. That's cool. This is the other thing that caught my eye, and not so much for the fact that it's Hideo Kojima, the Metal Gear Solid creator.
Yes.
But more something else that I picked up while I was actually going through this, right, that I had absolutely no idea about. And it's just a cool little tidbit. So the story is he wants to make video games that change in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, just reading through this story here, he says, want to make games that change in real time, even as we've finally got people of various ages and occupations from all around the world playing the same game. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is playing the same. Instead of that, I want to make something that changes based on where a person lives or how they think. Right now, I mean the sorry, you're gonna
you go.
Well, I was gonna say to be able to do that, it really expands the opportunities as to how you can interact with other people in that game. Like if you say, for example, we're here in Australia and, in the UK it's night while it's our day.
Yeah.
I do have that right?
No, that's right, yeah.
Then, to be able to interact with those people and the game is completely different. But, maybe, for example, something is happening during their night in the game that you need to complete a task during your day.
Yeah.
Right, and the only way you can do it is to find and pick. So there's some really cool broad applications for that.
The concept's not what I was going to say before. Is that I'm pretty sure it was a golf game I played in my past where, depending on your local weather, is how the course played.
That's you've mentioned this before. I love this idea.
So if it's raining, pissing down rain, and you got to play online, it's pissing down rain.
Yeah,
and that's all. It sort of died in the ass, but I reckon that's an excellent.
I think
idea.
it's a great idea.
It just makes it a bit more real.
Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to dress for a game like that?
Golf and wet weather is one of life's worst things. I don't recommend it.
So, but this I found this little thing in here, right? In the interview, he brought up Boktai, The Sun is in Your Hand. Now, this is a 2003 Game Boy Advance title that he produced.
Yep.
It's a vampire hunter game.
Yep.
Right? Now, the game's cartridge featured a light sensor, forcing players to go outside. He also wanted the game to include a sensor that would measure garlic breath. So he says because the amount of sunlight is applied in-game to defeat the vampires, the game changes depending on where you played and what time you played.
Yeah,
How cool is that?
That is cool.
And that was that's back in 2003. So it's again, it's a neat little idea, but I had no idea that game existed or that application of that particular function existed. It was just very cool.
We haven't addressed this. It's been a while actually, so we haven't addressed this. But I'm immediately thinking of our friends in China. Where I believe they're going into a system where you're only allowed to game for 1 hour a day.
Yes, there was. Now, I'll just bring it up just quickly.
Imagine the pressure of a Chinese gamer having to do something at 3 in the afternoon to when this part of this game is alive that you can do it, and you can't because it's not in your allocated hour of gaming.
Yeah, I know.
Those poor
no,
buggers.
you're right. That would be absolutely horrendous. So China has.
This is big. I actually.
Well, we didn't get a chance to cover this off because it dropped while we were away.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that even my wife said to me, "Have you heard about China?" I was like, "Oh yeah," and she goes, "Isn't that amazing?" So even she was interested in it.
New policy, it limits online video game play. So online video game playing, I don't know if it extends to not online.
Offline.
For young people to 3 hours a week. The new rules restrict online gaming for those under age 18 to 1 hour in the evening on Fridays, weekends, and public holidays. The restrictions took effect a couple of weeks ago.
Wowzers.
It came in by China's National Press and Public Administration, the NPPA, the agency responsible for regulating video games. The new rules place the responsibility for carrying out the policy on the gaming industry. The limits do not include punishments for individual gamers.
Jeez.
So there you go. Like, it doesn't include punishments for individual gamers. It looks like and reads like, by the sounds of things, that it includes punishments for the gaming industry. So the onus is on, I guess, maybe publishers and developers.
Yeah.
Wow. How is it?
So every game if you live in China, every game you've ever known suddenly gets an update.
Well, okay. So have you heard of Tencent?
No.
So Tencent is one of not only China's but one of the world's biggest games companies.
Right.
They have stakes in everything.
Yeah.
But they took the first step to restrict online gaming for young people back in 2017. It limited playing time for some young users of its popular game Honor of Kings. The move came after concerns from parents and teachers that children were becoming addicted to the game. So it's not exactly nothing new.
No.
Yeah, wow. It's quite incredible, really.
I will say, can you imagine a little Dan or a little Pedro sitting there, back in your real gaming prime, you sort of, ages 12 to 18.
Yeah.
And only getting 1 hour a day. I don't know if I'd cope. That's a hard thing to think about.
It's a very hard
because
thing to think about.
that's why we're here. We bloody love gaming.
We bloody love gaming.
I will say, though, in China's defence, we've recently inflicted a similar rule in our household for iPads and devices because our kids were becoming little fucks.
Ooh.
And that, I don't use that term loosely. They were becoming awful little people. So we decided to, on weekdays, a 1 hour a day iPad allocation.
Yeah.
And it immediately changed them.
Yeah.
And I hate admitting that because I'm a big fan of technology, but I don't know. I don't like a lot of stuff that China does, and good luck to them. That's their decision, I guess. But I don't particularly like a lot of this enforcement, rule with an iron fist type stuff. But I do understand why they probably want to limit kids. Gaming's so much different to when we gamed. It is so much more addictive. The online element, as a start, I'm convinced that. Why my kids play Minecraft and Roblox and stuff is not because they're great games. I don't think they are great games. I think it's because the connectivity with other people online.
Yeah.
Particularly, like we control that with their friends and their cousins. But even with themselves, that they all, one will get an iPad, one will get the Xbox, and they play within themselves playing Minecraft. I reckon it's that's the core of why they do it. It's not so much the game; it's the connectivity.
Yeah, absolutely, it's the connectivity.
So that's where it's different to when we gamed. Is that we could just. It was us against the computer or against friends.
Well, we'd just disappear, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of the gamer being in his room by himself late at night till the early hours of the morning.
Pants optional.
Yeah, right. Doritos and Cheetos and stuff all over their chip. Blah blah blah. That was actually quite real for our generation. It's not so much anymore. It's very different.
Yeah.
Sticks has just asked in our super secret channel, PlayStation Showcase, any highlights from it? A couple in particular, mate. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic getting a remake.
I did tweet the historian asking, will it eventually be cross-platform? And I got a bit of a hint that it might be.
Oh, it may be.
But holy shit. How dare you release a Star Wars game only on the PlayStation?
Yeah,
as an Xbox owner. Nico's going, fuck it.
I know. Well, exclusives in general.
Yes.
But they are what they are. So that I enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing a lot more of God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. Boy.
It was boy. Which was very cool. The fact that they're going to be opening up more of the 9 realms from the original game, the God of War, that we've most recently had. Because that's one of the things, right? When you play God of War, and when you play a lot of games, actually, when you're in sort of like an area that allows you to teleport to different worlds or so on and so forth, or different planes of reality, if they are true to the mythos or history, then there's often only so many places they can take you, but they still have to represent all options, right?
Yeah.
So, like Vanaheim, Svartalheim, Asgard, now all being available in this next game.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
And then to top it all off, for me, I mean, I'm such a wild fan of Insomniac games anyway. Your Spider-Man games are just top level. Some of the others that they've done, Ratchet and Clank, for example.
Yeah.
Rift Apart most recently, which is, you know, one of the best titles on the PlayStation 5. But for them to come out and go, we're making a Wolverine game.
Yeah.
Heaven.
Yes.
Absolute heaven.
And forgive my ignorance, they're in the same boat as Xbox, right? In that it hasn't really been a game yet to test its capabilities.
Oh,
Or has there been?
I mean,
I can't think of one on the Xbox.
yeah, look, I don't think we're... I think, you know, considering it's like when the PS4, excuse me, and the Xbox 360 launched. I mean, it really wasn't until maybe 4 or 5 years into those generations that they really started to test the limits of those
I reckon
consoles.
Perfect Dark Zero was a pretty good start.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what would you know?
That launched with the 360.
I'm just kidding. So there's some PlayStation stuff.
Great question.
That's cool. Very, very good question. Really appreciate it.
We digressed. I did digress from your original story. We were originally talking about something. What was it? I brought in China. Oh, the time shifting. Yeah.
Time shifting.
We've done that, haven't we?
But we've done that. We ticked that off.
That's bloody cool, man.
Dan, we found the out in radio terms. Now let's bugger this laptop off. Actually, no, I can't bugger it off too far because I have to do stuff. Today, Dan, is a big day in the Corelli household. Today and this week, 20 years. Happy 20th birthday. To my favourite console. Favorite console, Dan.
Let's just dwell on that straight off the bat. Your favourite console.
My favourite console is the Nintendo GameCube. And, you know, obviously we're showing this on Twitch. And it's on video. You can check it on our YouTube.
I forgot about the carry handle.
But I will explain to people what is going on in our studio right now who are listening to this as a podcast. But I have my original, still in pristine condition, Nintendo GameCube still in its box. Also still in pristine condition.
Where'd you buy it from?
Electronics Boutique. When it was Electronics Boutique, not EB Games. So launch day 2002, I think it was around about May. $279.95. Not long after that, I bought the Wavebird controller, which is my favourite controller. 20% off the mark price, if you don't mind. $69.92.
Yeah. So that's about $13 off. That's very good.
So I'll keep that there for the
Beautiful.
moment. But this is the Nintendo GameCube, and I'm just going to open it and pull a few things out. So this, you know, cables, pretty stock standard cables, and your
red, white, and yellow.
Red, white, and yellows, your XLRs, you know, but this, look, there's the original, I've got the lavender colour.
That's what I had
There's
too.
the original GameCube. So you had a GameCube, did you?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's so chunky but nice.
It's so chunky but nice, man. It really is. I've still got all of the inserts. I've still got all of the paperwork in there,
the
cardboard, and this, that, and the other. So I'll put them to the side. And this tiny little beautiful piece of machinery that I love so much. And it does, on the back of it, it's got a little carry handle.
Unbelievable.
Isn't it just? So I'm gonna open it. I can't remember. Maybe there's a game in it. No, there isn't. Okay. So you know, I've prepared myself, Dan. I've prepared myself, right? So the Nintendo GameCube, 2001 to 2007, sold 21.75 million units worldwide. Now that's less than anticipated. So they forecasted that this was going to sell 50 million units by 2005.
Right.
They discontinued it in 2007 and it only sold 21.75 million. Okay. Now at the time, it was battling the PlayStation 2, which had come out in the year 2000. 2000 and 2013. PS2 was discontinued in 2013, right? New generation console.
Yeah.
They sold 155 million units of the PS2.
Wow.
Xbox was 02 to 2009. It's the first Xbox, right? Mr. Red Ring of Death, Xbox.
I remember him well.
24 million units they sold.
Jeez.
So, you know, they had a couple of years to continue selling units, and they sold sort of 3 million more or so. But it was the first Nintendo console to use the discs.
Yes. The tiny mini discs.
Yep,
yeah.
the mini DVD-based format. And pretty much, unless you had adapters, so there's... Like on the bottom of it, you've got...
I've never actually ever done this.
You've never seen the bottom of... You never looked at the bottom of your GameCube?
No.
So the bottom of your GameCube, you've got a high-speed port adapter. I'm going to take away some of these clips and reveal them. You've got a serial port.
Yeah.
And you've got serial port 2. Still a bit of dust.
Serial port 1 seems like a lot of space for that cover.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? So
maybe they were going to plan something for this.
Well, I don't know. Like, they had a fair few plans, but the main sort of bit of adaptation for this, because it was around about the same time.
Maybe that was for the Bluetooth pairing.
Maybe it was. Jesus Christ. About time, Nintendo. But the Game Boy Advance was going to be its main port of call in terms of being able to connect to something.
That's right. Yeah,
Right.
I remember now. Yeah.
So the other thing, and I'll get to it a little bit later, is also it did have online functionality.
Right.
So you could do online gaming. Now, I found some really interesting information about the GameCube.
Yeah.
Right? And I want you to sort of put your mind into the fact that, remember, this was back in 2002 that it launched.
Yep.
Okay? Now, keep that in mind, because it's really, I reckon, what would you say? Like, sure... We've probably been online gaming, really took off here around about Modern Warfare 2 era.
Oh, yeah.
On the PlayStation.
2007? 6, 7, yeah.
Yeah, sort of thereabouts, right? So, but really in the last sort of 5 years has it exploded.
Oh, yeah.
COVID, of course, has accelerated that. But so keep that in mind, right, as we go back a ways. But without the adapter for the Game Boy Advance stuff, basically the only thing you could really do with it, and certainly us here in the Western world, was just play the mini discs.
Yes.
1.5 gigabyte mini disc.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Compared to up to 8.5 gigabytes on the PS2 and the Xbox.
Right.
Okay, so there was the difference in terms of the size.
that's almost 8 times, yeah.
Here's some notes around developing. Okay, design began in 1998. So this was released 4 years after the design on it began. The graphics processor was codenamed Flipper. Now, what blew me away about that was that I remember reading Nintendo magazines back in the day. Me and my mate, Eric Breeden.
Yeah, Eric.
You've got Ronald P. Corbett.
Yes.
I've got Eric Breeden.
Yes. Ding!
Right? Ding! So me and my mate Azza would be down the back of the Oval, we'd be reading Nintendo Power and stuff like that, right?
I mean...
And I still remember seeing Project Flipper on the front cover of a Nintendo Power.
Right. Yeah.
Other names that it had were N2000, because of course it was coming up to the year 2000, Star Cube, and Nintendo Advance.
Okay.
Of course we had Game Boy Advance. And in fact, the colour that I'm holding, the lavender colour, purpley sort of bluey lavender, was the same release colour for the Nintendo Advance back in the day. Gecko was the CPU name. That was from a IBM partnership. And in fact, on the front of the box, you can see down in the right-hand corner, IBM microprocessor technology. Right, so I'll just hold that up to the camera. You probably can't see, but if you sort of Google a box or something, you'll probably be able to check it out. It wasn't until Oppressor in 1999 that they announced it publicly as Project Dolphin. I also remember seeing that on the front cover of one of them. Nintendo developed stereoscopic 3D technology. So, to play games in 3D. The only game that they actually had it there for was Luigi's Mansion.
Which I never actually owned.
I never owned it either. No, Luigi's Mansion was also its main launch title.
Yeah, it was,
And it was the first time in 6 generations, and since the very beginning of Nintendo being in video game home consoles, that they launched without a Super Mario game.
Yeah, right. They went with the brother.
They went with the brother instead. But it was never enabled, the whole sort of 3D thing, never enabled outside of development because 3D TVs just weren't a thing.
No.
Now, 3D TVs tried to have a crack, sort of around about James Cameron's Avatar coming out, right? And 3D going off in cinemas. But they still haven't taken off.
No.
They still haven't.
No.
You could muck around with the startup intro, like the little thing that we played, if you remember to put it in. At the beginning where it drops and did little. If you turned the console on and you had your first controller held down the Z trigger, it would change that sound.
Ah, right.
If you put in 4 different controllers and held all of them, it would do it, change it to a different sound again. So very cool.
I love that shit.
Well, I like the thing that I remember that being a little Easter egg. The first time I was introduced to an Easter egg like that with the Nintendo, was the Game Boy Color.
Yes.
Because you could, as the Nintendo logo was dropping down at the beginning, if you press certain buttons, you could muck around with what shade the screen was going to be for the duration of your game. Software titles, 15 launch titles, including Luigi's Mansion. 15 launch titles, some of them on the very back of this, right? So Super Smash Brothers Melee, Donkey Kong Racing, we had Diddy Kong Racing. That was Pikmin.
Pikmin, that's right. Yes.
Pikmin, Eternal Darkness.
Oh, I remember that game. The
Wave Race.
Wave Race.
Now that was Wave Race Blue Storm because of course we had Wave Race on the Nintendo 64, right? Luigi's Mansion, Cameo, Elements of Power, Star Fox Adventures, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader 2.
Yes, I had that.
If Straight Jacket Jim or Inferno are watching this right now, they'd be losing their minds over that.
Who's that handsome man?
That is Kobe Bryant. Yeah. That is Kobe Bryant for NBA Courtside 2002.
Yes.
And of course, all sold separately. But there's a little quote on the back from Shigeru Miyamoto. It says, "What if everything you see is more than what you see? The person next to you is a warrior, and the space that appears empty is a secret door to another world. What if something appears that shouldn't? You either dismiss it or you accept that there is much more to the world than you think. Perhaps it really is a doorway, and if you choose to go inside, you'll find many unsuspecting things, cool. Unexpected things." There we go. There was just on the side of the boxes we're looking at the moment, the Nintendo GameCube modem adapter. Even though it really didn't take off here in Australia, mate, it's still there on the side. Nintendo GameCube accessories sold separately. So there you go. 56K V.90 compatible modem extending online gameplay, interactivity, and possibilities. Planned for future release. I know. You can hear the bloody dial-up modem, can't you?
100%.
You absolutely can.
Actually, I'll play that right now. Ready? There you go.
Bloody beautiful. What else have we got here?
Put that in too.
Here's another thing. We didn't get motion controls until the Wii, right? Long before this console's launch, the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo had developed and patented an early prototype of motion controls for it. They were going to be released for the GameCube.
Yep. Okay.
What else have we got here? This is really interesting. So the controller that we ended up with, right? Which doesn't have a headphone jack.
No.
It did away with the back port that Nintendo 64 controllers had, because you
inbuilt rumble pack?
Inbuilt rumble packs, right? And sort of taking its cues, I guess, from PlayStation 2.
Yep.
Right? But, you had your memory cards now inbuilt into the actual core system itself.
Yep.
Again, taking cues from the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
Even the first PlayStation had that as well.
Yeah.
But an interview quoted Greg Thomas, Sega of America's Vice President of Development, as saying, "What does worry me is Dolphin's sensory controllers." So this is going back to what I mentioned about sensory controllers. It was already out there in dev kits, right? Rumored to include microphones and headphone jacks.
Right.
Because there's an example of somebody thinking something different.
Yes.
Right? And then, of course, those deployed several years later with the Wii. In September 2020, leaked documents include Nintendo's plans for GameCube model that is both portable with a built-in display and dockable to a TV. So this came out in September 2020, that leaked documents around the GameCube already started to show that they were thinking about what we have with the Nintendo Switch and what we had with the Wii U.
Yep.
You know how the Wii U had the built-in display? Right? And of course we've got... So, man, the stuff that we've had from Nintendo in the last sort of 3, 5, 7 years... already being thought about at the time that they were developing the GameCube.
So 24 years ago.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's just so bloody portable.
It is so portable.
Well, I'm off to Pete's mum to do some gaming.
Yes.
See ya.
I know. It's I love it. I'm in love with this system.
I'm starting to love it too.
Online gaming supports network connectivity, as I mentioned, but the only games you could use here in Western society were the Phantasy Star series.
Okay.
Decommissioned in 2007. But if you are interested, there are still private servers being maintained by fans.
Is that right?
Yep, there you go. Right. Poor sales. Led to it being dropped in 2007, unfortunately, essentially, but financial harm leading to Time International calling it an unmitigated disaster.
Jeepers, that's harsh.
A lot of this was attributed to it feeling like a kid's console.
Yeah, isn't it funny? Like, you know, I'm blown away by this now, 20 years later, looking at the foresight. Yet, at the time, I don't know, I probably didn't appreciate it. And I guess, was it the mini discs? You know, was that a little bit too different out of left field thinking? You know?
I think it actually had more to do with third-party developers and the games that they chose not to release on the GameCube.
Yeah.
So, for example, right, like if you wanted to play a mature game, you weren't going to the GameCube.
No.
Right? You were to play the Grand Theft Auto series, you were going to PlayStation and Xbox.
That's true. And maybe that's it. Maybe it was the evolution. Maybe that he didn't read the room when it came to the evolution of gamers, particularly the demographic.
Yeah.
They were getting older. They wanted more adult games.
Yeah, and I think that's literally the case. Like Nintendo, you know, they'd already sort of set themselves up to a degree with the Nintendo 64, which, you know, doing some more reading while I was doing research on the GameCube, had already set themselves up to start failing as a company, by the way.
Right.
But, you know, the Nintendo 64 certainly had its fair share of what you would probably call adult games by comparison of a lot of the first-party IPs that were on there. GoldenEye, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? However, still that viewing, and even viewing, you know, through rose-coloured glasses back into our retro games, still looking like a bit of a kid's system by comparison of, you know, the PlayStation. And, I mean, PlayStation really, and Xbox, started targeting older gamers.
Yeah, they did.
And then I think, you know, like your sort of more mature games followed suit in terms of where they were going to release.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, today, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, actually revealed his... So there was a tweet by Twitter Gaming saying, what's your favourite GameCube game in honour of, you know, Twin? He revealed that it's a game called Eternal Darkness.
Oh, okay.
Now, Eternal Darkness, as I mentioned before, you know, going through that launch list, was one of the launch games. It's got C.
C. The one with the knife.
Yeah, the
I never played that either.
some weird sort of... It was like a dungeon crawler / like horror game, mess with your mind by breaking the fourth wall, like a lot of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And they had it, you know, these things which they coined the term sanity effects for.
Right.
And that was the whole point. Like they really tried to fuck with you.
Yeah.
But man, I got to hand it to this game. Like I went back. I haven't played it in bloody the better part of 15 years. And I went back to have a look at this game, and the memories immediately started flooding back. As far as horror games were concerned, like just listening to the sound, they got it right. They got it so right with this game. Like you've got it. I encourage or urge anybody, right, who's got a spare moment today, tomorrow, whenever, to jump on and type in YouTube Eternal Darkness and have a look at the playthrough.
Yeah.
Because the general atmosphere and sound effects and all that sort of stuff, scary as fuck, man. Like seriously, really scary. Like they did a really, really good job of terrifying you as a gamer. Just set this atmosphere, like, you know, there's screams in the background and like, you know, there's people, you can hear them being tortured, like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, great.
And the voice acting work is pristine. It is really top
notch. I never played it. What was your favourite game?
Well,
on the GameCube.
God. My attitude, my answer on this changes. Like, it changes depending how I feel.
Well, I could claim the same thing.
But I, like, for me...
Well, give me...
Okay, well, I have so many
I'll give you a three-way tie.
I've got so... Okay, well, you give me your three-way.
Metroid Prime. Mario Golf. And Mario Party. I loved those three games.
Yeah, great games. I think it's still, to this day, the best Super Smash Brothers that any console...
Which is a massive part of your gaming history.
Huge.
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, Melee, to me, is still the best Super Smash Brothers that they've ever released.
Yep.
And I think that's actually supported by the fighting game community in general because that's what they tend to play. Metroid series, yes, 100%, without a doubt. I loved Metroid, absolutely sick. Wind Waker was a funny one because everybody was kind of like, oh, cell shading, because we were all under the impression back in the. I remember this. We were all
cell shading.
Well, we were all under the impression that we were going to get this really mature kind of game. Like, how do you leap forward past Majora's Mask, right?
Yeah.
How do you take a step forward? And instead, they went completely the other way, and they went with cell shading and created Wind Waker. Yeah. Now, I really like Wind Waker, right? So I enjoyed that. God, that's the thing. This is why
love it.
I love this, because I genuinely love this console, because there are so many games that I really, really had so much fun with, and I think that they did incredibly well.
Even just the way it opened, you know, it's
It's
beautiful.
Absolutely
It really
beautiful.
is.
The
The
way it
buttons
just
are nice,
slides
simple.
open.
Yeah, it's probably a really unappreciated beauty, this thing.
I think it is, and on this,
And I'm with you.
On this,
Still wouldn't call it my favourite, but I certainly have developed. Your little session here has really seriously given me a new appreciation.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm just bringing my knowledge to the people. But I just think, you know, on this, the 20th birthday of this, what I feel is a very underappreciated console, give it some love today, guys, and go and have a fair look at it and the stuff, because a lot of the early ideas that they were having to bring to the Nintendo GameCube that were so before their time are now the ideas that we play with every single day with the Nintendo Switch. You know, so you're a beautiful little thing, mate. I love you. Don't listen to what they have to say. Don't listen to the haters.
We love you. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
And I'll clap it. I'll clap it in.
Thanks, mate. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Clap it back in. Give it a little clappy. A clap, clapperoo.
Yay!
All right. So he's going back in the box, and we won't see you until your 30th birthday. Excuse me. Oh, mate. I think we're just about done. I'm just going to go back to our.
It's bloody great to be back.
It is really good to be back, mate. It's good to be back.
Thing
and we're both wearing shorts. The last time we were, I think, oh no, you probably were wearing shorts. You wear shorts.
I've got some bruises going on my legs. Look at this.
Do you?
On there. From indoor cricket, man.
Oh, how'd you go last night?
No, we lost the grand final.
What?
Yeah.
The grand final? Oh, mate.
So we played a team that, if it was odds in it, we would have been like $5 outsiders to win. So we did all right. We kept them.
Fair enough.
Had a fair result with the player of the season, though.
Did you?
Yeah.
You got player of the season? Of course you did. How many times you won that?
Oh, well, it's only just come back. And they haven't done it for years, but this year's the first year I didn't even know it was coming. And the guy goes, by the way, player MVP for the whole season, Dan Vandermeer. I went, oh, my God. And there's a bit of a running joke because my brother's name's Damien. And I swear one year I should have won it. And I reckon when they counted the votes, because our names, it was Damo and Dano. They look very similar on paper.
Damo and Dano!
I reckon he
sounds like a fucking radio show.
I reckon he got a couple of my votes, the bastards. Last I was like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, you bloody ripper.
Yeah.
Hey, mate, one more thing before we bugger off. What do you get for winning that, by the way? Do you get anything?
A big trophy, and that's about it.
Okay. Okay, now because of the time that this is going to air, I can't reveal anything just yet.
Okay.
All right.
However,
what I do want to say is that I've just this morning received an email from...
I don't even know this, so please.
From our friends at GeForce Now.
Yes.
Right? And I would say if you are someone who has signed up through cloud.gg for NVIDIA GeForce Now in the country, and you've been doing your beta quests and so on and so forth at 6 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time, whilst you're lurking nuts and bolts, mind you, I would want to be checking out GeForce Now powered by Pentanet on socials, on YouTube, wherever you can find it. Because there's going to be some very, 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 very awesome information for you. You're going to be happy. I'm just going to say it. You're going to be happy. I can't say anything now. No. I really want to say something right now. I can't even... Oh, God, I can't. I want to say it right now. I want to tell you. I want to tell you. God. But they'll kill me. They will kill me. I fear for my life, Dan, on the daily. Every single day I wake up just thinking, is this it? But Yeah,
But-
very,
okay.
very, very
All right,
exciting.
Very, very good.
We're going to leave it there.
Very good.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much. Don't forget, click like, follow, subscribe. Check out all our socials. Check out all our channels. We'd really appreciate it. Go to GameOnOz.com for all of the latest stories.
Yes.
As we mentioned, today is Deathloop Review Day. Royce Wilson, Zulu, he's going to have that Deathloop drop for you, so thank you so much. We've got Straight Jacket Jim, Natty coming up. Nuts and Bolts is coming up next. Thanks, Lenovo Legion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Legends.
GeForce Now, powered by our good friends at Pensinet.
Thank you, legends.
Thank you, Quantum Energy.
Thank you, legends.
Have I forgotten anybody else? Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to you, our viewers, for watching and for listening. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend in games. And as we always say, Dan,
Don't forget to save. They give you that thing.
there you go.
And check out an old beauty.
An old beauty.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about us. Game On Legends!
Yes!
You have found us. You are here. You are watching our shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, look, if for some ungodly reason you do really love it, click subscribe. It means that you get notifications and stuff when we upload more of this gear. So, yeah. I mean, that's really it.
We have a heap of stuff going up all the time, so
Yeah.
make sure you don't want to miss any of it.
I mean, you know,
You don't.
it won't put food on the table. We get that. It's not going to earn you money watching our things. It'll earn us money. We're not even monetized yet.
No, we're not. That's how bad it is.
But, I don't know, mate. Just do us a solid, I guess.
Please.
Cheers.
Cheers.